Hello and welcome to another episode of Face. My name is Jeff Ramsey, and this is a podcast where you, let's say, make an appointment to go to the dentist on the day that you record a podcast. And you make that appointment because it's an emergency, because you've had a week of a terrible toothache, and it's keeping you up at night, and you haven't slept for 3 or 4 days now, and so you the first slot you can get in is at 8:30 in the morning on the day that you record episode 13 of your podcast. So you go just for some sweet relief, just anything, and you find out and that you need, and then you receive a root canal. Wow. As with me as always, Gavin Free and Andrew Benton.
You had a rough day.
Oh my God, I'm miserable. It feels like 2 women crawled inside of my mouth for 2 hours with sharp metal objects. And they were very sweet and they were very nice and they numbed me up real good. But as the numbing is wearing off, I feel like hammered shit. I feel like somebody used my face as a piñata, and I'm all drugged up, and I'm so ready to do this podcast. So, Andrew, what's to do with you?
What exactly is the root canal? It's like your tooth stem. It's like deep tooth, right?
Yeah, it's like...
or is it the tooth or the hole for the tooth?
I don't fucking know, dude. I tell you what it is. It's about 90 minutes of a jackhammer going into your brain and hearing them go like, I almost got it. And you're like, oh, God. You're hearing cranking and gears. It sounds like, if you close your eyes, it almost sounds like an engine overhaul on like a 77 Bronco.
And we all know what that sounds like.
Yeah. Very relatable reference.
A lot of pneumatic drills and whirs and zings and clang, a lot of clangs.
They didn't adequately numb you.
No, they did a good job. It's just that when 2 entire human beings crawl into your mouth, you get all stretched out.
I mean, they're not in there on their hands and knees, Jeff.
Dude, Gavin, it was my molar, my back tooth. So they had to get me. They had to get and they're not large women, but they had to get all of their hands and their arms and their up at least to the biceps.
Yeah. Well, I mean, compared to the human mouth, all women are large.
That's 4 entire limbs in there, and then they had to get the drilling rig. You know, the equipment. They had to get the front loader.
Yeah.
And like the raker and all that stuff.
They had to jack you up.
Yeah, and then those things require power, so they have to pull that giant battery machine.
The 3-phase.
Yeah, and then you got to have a tech for if the generator fails, and he's got to have a place to stand. And then, all the bits and pieces of your tooth that are flying out, they got to go somewhere. Anyway, it takes up a lot of space. I feel like I just did a 500 dick gangbang in my butt.
You didn't even go for mouth, the source of the pain.
I mean, my butt feels like my mouth. My mouth feels like...
Wait, what?
If my mouth feels like what my butthole would feel like if I had gotten gangbanged by 500 dudes of decent length and girth.
So if you're saying if you took 500 dudes in the mouth, it wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah, and I realize that maybe I'm not making the most logical sense, but that's because I'm on some pills of some kind, and I'm a little loopy. What with the pain and all? Oh, I shouldn't yell. That hurt my mouth.
Is this a different tooth, Jeff, than the one that you sucked in half with a piece of taffy?
What?
Different tooth. Same tooth, other side of the mouth.
Yeah, he was just sucking on some saltwater taffy, which I assume was delicious.
It was delicious.
And he was just sucking on it. We're playing like Gears of War 2 or something. And suddenly he just like crunched something. It was like he bit like a pistachio shell or something. It was like, yeah. And then he gozzed out like just the top half of his tooth.
Just like shaved off.
Yeah, just like pulled in half by taffy.
That's horrifying. Was it painful?
It didn't feel great.
You seem more confused than in pain, but...
It didn't feel as bad as this. Anyway, that's what kind of podcast this is. The only reason we drew the fucking face, perfectly I might add, at least in my...
You don't know anything about last week.
The only reason we drew it... I remember this part. The only reason we drew it is because you wouldn't.
No, it's not that I wouldn't. I couldn't. I wasn't opposed. I wasn't opposed.
That's a good point. Do you remember much of last week, Jeff? Or were you just completely off your tits?
I was pretty off my tits. It's not 100%, but it's better. I got to go back in like 2 weeks and get the temporary crown cranked off, and then the root canal finit.
What?
Jeff may still be on medicine.
I just get the root canal finished, or the root cal finished, as I just said, and then go through it all over again. So I'll let you, I'm doing okay right now, but I'm not looking forward to being me in like 10 days or so.
You've been all over the Twitter.
I'm so fucking dizzy right now.
Geoff, what
listen.
you on, codeine?
Yeah. Here's why. You guys know I had a root canal a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Allegedly.
I fucked up. I faced myself, and I scheduled. I faced myself and face fucked myself. Only one of those should have to be bleeped because I scheduled a dentist appointment on the day of the recording of a face, and it turned out to be a root canal. Right, so I was all loopy and out of my mind and in pain when we did that recording. Well, I scheduled the follow-up to finish the root canal Wednesday, day before the podcast. Big brain Geoff did that one. Shouldn't be an issue, right? That was a burp.
Right.
But here's what happened. I went to my dentist. They said, let me just tell you the whole story. I go to my dentist. I got a toothache. They go, you need a root canal. We're going to do 80% of the root canal today. And then when you come back in to get a new crown put on, because we're going to need to put a permanent crown on your tooth, then we'll finish the root canal and put the crown on, kick you out the door, happy as can be. That was supposed to be Wednesday. Wednesday, I go in. They spent 2 hours in my mouth and said, well, this is a bigger job than we're capable of handling. You've got it's a big root canal. It's a little bit more than a typical dentist can do. We don't have the right equipment. We could do it. They're skilled. They're trained technicians. The doctor seemed very capable, but they didn't have the right equipment to do it. So they sent me to an endodontist, I believe is what they're called, which is apparently a dentist who just does root canals. It's like the root canal store. And so I was in a tremendous amount of pain, and they were like, you better get in to see this endodontist as soon as possible. So the only day the endodontist works is Thursdays. So I left Wednesday in incredible pain, and Thursday morning got up and went to the goddamn endodontist and had another root canal.
On the same canal?
Same canal. So round 3 on the same tooth, that started at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. I wasn't done till 4.
God damn. And this was after 2 hours the day before.
The day before.
Digging
The day
around
before.
uselessly?
Yeah. Here's how that ended. By the way, great guy, and then everybody, the dental assistant, everybody was lovely. It was actually being there in the moment was painless. They did a really good job of numbing me. Just fantastic bedside manner. If you're in the Austin area and if you need some recommendations on endodontists, I'll hook you up. Hit me up offline. That's for the audience as well, not just you two idiots. But the end result is, that was round 3. I am scheduled for round 4.
Oh, no.
In 2 weeks. And then after round 4, there will be a round 5.
Are they like putting bolts in your gum? Or what are they doing?
No, it's not none of that. It's just that like they have to like without getting too in the weeds with it. Like the dentist was able to get 2 of the 3 nerves, and then the part of the process of them making it wait is they have to put medicine in to sanitize it, and then you need to take a round of antibiotics and steroids and shit. And so when I couldn't do that for the 3rd tooth, I then got kind of reset, and so the endodontist had to go in, fix that 3rd nerve, and then I have to do a round of steroids and a round of treatment and a round of antibiotics all over again. So I have to wait 2 more weeks before he can then go in and finish it. But he doesn't put crowns on. He only patches holes in root canals. So after that's done, then I have to go back to my dentist to do the crown, whereas the 5th trip is involved. So by the time it's all said and done, this goddamn root canal will be minimum 5 visits with people in my tooth, people up in my mouth, minimum of 5. We're talking about like 11 hours under the knife, under the drill, maybe they say in dentistry, I don't know. And it's going to span over 2 months. I will have been with temporary mouth, not being able to use the left side of my mouth for 2, maybe 3 months. And I would be lying if I said it's a struggle not to cry out of frustration and pain and sadness every moment I'm awake right now.
I hope you feel guilty, Andrew, that after hearing that story, all of the hours, the 5 different trips, that you went to court without him and are now blaming him for not being there. How do you feel about that?
I'm not blaming him at all. I feel absolutely great. I think the thing I took away from that story is he learned on Wednesday. He had to go on Thursday. Why did we not get notice of this?
He went in at 11 by the sounds of it.
They told me it wouldn't take more than an hour, hour and a half. I thought I would be done.
But it's a risky move.
And I was in the Slack,
suspicious.
and I said, "Hey guys, this is gonna be a game time decision. It's taking longer than I thought. Just letting you know." I thought I was gonna be able to get it, come in, mouth all numbed up on Novocaine, full of drugs, and be like, and be funny and loopy because I thought my misery, my pain would be y'all's pleasure. Instead, it was just a lot more of my pain. Also, I feel like I never got a chance to mention last episode. God, I really want to talk about my business project. I forgot to mention last episode, or at least I tried to, but I couldn't get a word in. I'm talking to you guys on a fully functioning, totally complete, A-OK, 100% mouth.
Oh, are you all done with teeth?
Yesterday, I went in to get my permanent crown put on. It was the final step of the 5-trip saga, the 3-month saga. And I went in at 10 a.m. yesterday morning, and they said, this should take about 15 minutes.
No.
We're not even going to have to numb your mouth.
No.
90 minutes later, I limped out of that chair with a very, very bloody numb mouth. However, it's done. It's done. I fucking chewed on the left side of my mouth today. Hadn't done that in 3 months. It was glorious.
Wow.
It was phenomenal. And I'm done. I'm fucking done, baby. My mouth's good. I don't have any temporary anything. I got a permanent tooth, and I'm done getting 7,000 needles stuck in it. I'm done having people like fucking working in my mouth like it's a fucking 68 Buick. I'm totally back in business.
Do you think you could tackle a bag of taffy to prove it, or would you be worried?
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
That's scary. I don't know about that. I don't want to go through this again, man. And they were like, it was like, I knew what was going to happen before they did. They sat me down and they go, we don't even have to numb you. It's going to be fine. We're just going to pull this out. If you might feel a little pressure, but it shouldn't hurt. And I go, okay. And she goes, huh. That doesn't seem to be coming. Let me get the dentist. And the dentist comes in and goes, and she goes, well, we're going to have to cut the temporary in half. That's okay, though.
What?
We still don't need to do pain meds or anything. It should just take a second. And she's in there, and they're like cutting, and then they go. She's in there, and I heard zzz, zzz. Didn't feel anything because, it was just the temporary thing that we're cutting. And she goes, zzz, zzz. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get a syringe, and we're going to numb you up. And then 10 minutes turned into almost 2 hours.
Oh.
But I'm done. I'm back
so
in
glad you're
business. Ugh. So that's where I am Friday morning, right? Is I have a fixed plumbing issue now. I think, or I'm about to get it fixed. I wake up on Friday morning, a little bit of anxiety because I have to go to the dentist. It's no big deal. I have an old silver filling, and the dentist was like, I'd like to take that out and maybe put a crown there. I think it's not going to hurt. It's not going to be painful. I know we just went through that marathon of shitty root canals. This is going to be just a minor thing. So I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And then I scheduled it for fucking 3 months later. 3 months later was last Friday. Get up, I go to I'm feeling itchy, getting up, going to the dentist because I had that run. I had that 5 root canal run, right? And so I don't want to go, and I calm myself down, and I'm like, you being a fucking baby. And so I go in, and I get in, and I go in, and I'm like, and I sit down, and we take the filling off, and she's like, okay, and she cleans it up like that, and she's like, looking good, this is fun, and I'm feeling really good. She's like, this is all so easy, no pain yet, right? And I'm like, no, not at all. And she's like, all right, we're just about wrapping up, and you know what? Here's what I'm going to do, though. Instead of just putting the crown on right now, I'm going to go ahead and give you another root canal. And then a fucking nurse came out, and she had an air horn, and she went, "Brr!" And then they all held their drills up in the air, and they went,
Wait, what?
Fuck Geoff!
And then they gave me a root canal?
Why?
Right there and
then? Yeah, and so I had an immediate root canal on the spot. Right there.
Wait, did they know
in that
you
fucking
needed
moment.
this, or did they realize in the process?
No, they discovered in the process from removing the old silver filling that the root was a little close to the edge, and they just thought it to be safe. And so I had another root canal. So anyway, that was most of Friday. I had that hurt like hell. Real sore, real pain, a lot of pain. Misery, a lot of misery there. So then go and the plumbers come and they're like, "Hey, we cut your whole fucking wall out, but your plumbing's fixed."
Any root canals, Geoff, in the last week? Any dental issues going on? What's going on with your teeth? Oh, no. I thought this would be no. I thought you'd say no, and we'd move on.
No. Well, yeah. So, okay. Well, when I got my root canal, the lady, they had to put a temporary crown on. And the lady said, this glue's a little messy. And I might have got a little on the back of your tooth there, but it'll come off. And I go, okay. And she goes, it'll go away in like a day or two. And I could feel a little bit of like rough spot back there. And then I didn't think too much of it. And then like 3 days later, a chunk of glue came out of my mouth that was the size of, it was like a finger long, like finger to knuckle long. And I thought my mouth was falling apart. I had forgotten about it, and I sat down with this thing that came out of my mouth, looking at it, trying to figure out what the fuck was going wrong inside of me. And it probably took a good 45 seconds to realize that was the thing that had released, and it was way bigger than she'd given me the impression, and probably way bigger than it should have been, and probably should have been cleaned up. But anyway, so yeah, I had about a 46 second period there where I almost shit my pants because I thought my mouth was falling out. I haven't been back to the dentist because I don't get to go yet, but I do have to go in 2 weeks to get the permanent crown put on.
Okay.
So just until then, I can't eat on the left side of my mouth. So what I am in essence doing, and I continue to do because the other root canal was on this side, is I'm just over chewing on the right side of my mouth, which I assume wears down my teeth more on that side, which means it's going to create an imbalance of tooth problems on the right side down the road. But also, I'll be honest with you, I'm getting really strong on the right side of my mouth, and on the left side, not so strong. So I'm like that guy in that M. Night Shyamalan movie. I got one big-ass mouth muscle on the right and one tiny-ass mouth muscle on the left, and it does me no fucking good because I'm not Sylvester Stallone and over the top, and I can't win any fucking fights with it.
You're just like a charger, but it's in your face.
Yeah, I'm like a face charger. I'm a cheek charger. I'm a cheek charger.
Okay.
That's how the dentist is going.
The dentist is that's
what
great.
else you got, Andrew? You guys remember how like for about a solid year I had just a tremendous amount of teeth problems?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
oh no.
I hesitate.
Oh my god.
No.
Do you guys remember that root canal I got that took
Which one?
the 5 root canals in one tooth?
Not the surprise, the root canal?
No, not the other two, but the initial one that kicked it all off.
Yeah.
It took me like 2 months. I didn't have a tooth.
Jeff has had so many root canals that it could be like a police lineup that we need to try to identify. There's like 7 of them.
It's like root canal 3 and 5. Please step forward and say, "Ow!"
Jeff root canal 2, Jeff root canal 3.
I was eating some hard candy on Saturday, and I bit on it, and I just had like a weird pain in the back of one of my molars, and I thought, that's weird, a little sensitive. And then Sunday, it started to be a little sore. Monday morning, I woke up from the pain at about 5 a.m., excruciating, and went to the dentist. And it's a long, like 6-hour story about just incompetence and shit going wrong. And usually I delight in telling those, but I don't want to yell right now because my mouth hurts, and I don't have the energy to be angry. So I'm not going to go into all the particular ways the dentist and the pharmacy and everyone in Austin fucked me over yesterday. But every one of you motherfuckers know who you are. Every single one of you knows what your incompetence did to me, knows the hours it took out of my life, knows the pain you caused me, and karma will find you. I'll tell you that right now. You 6 or 7 just miserable sons of bitches out there. It's not going to be me, but the universe will get revenge for what you've done to me. I'll just say that. That's all I'm going to say. For everything that went on yesterday, that's all I'm going to say. I'm too upset to get into it. But I went to the dentist eventually, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it looks like I'm not going to get mad." Once I convinced them that it was the tooth that it was, I didn't have to fight with the lady anymore.
Is this the same dentist?
Well, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. I went to my dentist, and my dentist is no longer there. My dental company has a different name on it now, my dentist office, and most of the people are there, but my dentist is gone. And so all of a sudden I have a new dentist I have no idea what happened there. But it made me think about a story, which I can get into later. So anyway, I got to meet a new dentist yesterday under a new name because my dental company is now something else. And they took an x-ray eventually when they figured out how to take x-rays at the place where they take x-rays all day, every day. And they were like, oh, yeah, it looks like when you had your root canal, maybe that sometimes there can be like a side channel that doesn't get seen, wasn't showed up. And anyway, so you've got like a little infection there. So we'll just need to go in and take that out. And I go, please do, because this is like, I'm in excruciating pain. And she's like, well, I can't, you're going to have to go to the endodontist who did it last time because they have like a special equipment to get into this thing. And so, best of luck. And so I called the endodontist. Eventually, there were a bunch of points of failure between these times. And when I eventually convinced them to give me the correct endodontist, I argued that successfully. The endodontist was like, yeah, we can see you next Thursday. And I was like, boy, I'm in a lot of pain today. And they're like, yeah, cool. We'll hold on to that, and we'll see you next Thursday. So I called every endodontist in Austin, and no one can see me. Ironically, every endodontist in the city, in the 11th largest city of America, Austin, Texas, every endodontist has an appointment next Thursday. But nothing between now and next Thursday. Like probably 30 endodontists, all are free next Thursday.
Do you think that
very
only
busy,
on Thursdays?
very busy between now and then. Some of them, not all of them. Anyway, the pain was unbearable. I asked for pain meds, to which they refused to give me. So I am, but they did give me antibiotics, and they swore that the antibiotics mixed with Motrin would help it go away. And so yesterday was one of the most painful days of my life. And eventually it did go away, and I was able to get to sleep. And so far, so good this morning, although it's tentative. But yeah, I got to get another root canal next Thursday. I got to root canal my rooted canal because they didn't root canal. The first 5 times weren't enough. So next Thursday, I'm getting my first and hopefully only root canal of 2022. Thought the other 3 were behind me. Thought the 13 months of hell, dental hell, were behind me. But turns out they were. It was just there was like a little bomb waiting in my mouth to explode.
At what point do you just pull them all out and get a completely fake set of teeth?
I don't know. Soon. Fucking who needs teeth?
I feel like you may be close to setting a record for the most root canals on a singular tooth. You have to be near it.
Yeah.
What is this?
I don't even like this fucking tooth anymore. No, this would be, one root canal that took 5 sessions, right? And then, so this will be and this will be retreating that canal. So this will be the 6th time they've drilled into this tooth for this problem.
Do you have a ranking of teeth? Do you have a favorite tooth?
I have a least favorite tooth. I'll tell you that.
There's a bottom tier.
Oh, I was gonna ask you guys to do something for me. And it should not be hard. It's pretty much par for the course. But could you guys do your best not to make me laugh for the next hour?
Oh, because of the pain?
So yeah, it's pretty bad.
How did it go?
I wanted to start off 2022 like I started off 2021. With root canals.
With your mouth open?
Yeah, with my mouth open, with some old guy crawled up in it. I got part 1 of my root canal today on the first. You remember that first root canal I had way back a year and a half ago that took 5 sessions? Well, that pesky little guy somehow got infected again, and so I'm on session 6 now on this tooth.
Can you get your money back for the first 5?
No, it doesn't work like that. I don't think dentists don't have satisfaction guaranteed.
It's like an NFL contract.
They said they'll do their absolute best to eliminate the problem, but it can come back. And it did. So, it's cool. I got a root canal today, and then I'll get another one next week, and then I'll be done
Is it a 7 and done, or is it
it's either It's either he fixes it Wednesday or we pull the tooth. So it's done one way or the other. Yeah,
I would have been on pull the tooth after like 4. I think. I don't think I would go 7 and pull.
The problem is I like the teeth that I have, you know, and I've also invested a lot of money in this tooth specifically.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a sunken cost fallacy, I guess. But I really feel like keeping the tooth around to get my money's worth out of it.
It's this weird, almost like investing in a car that you just need to let go of. Like you put so much money into it, but 7 is your walk away. 7's a lucky number, Geoff.
Yeah,
lucky number 7. That'll be it. That'll be the turnaround for you. You just need 7. And then you'll be fine.
Are you at more root canals on that tooth than Transformer movies?
I think we're tied.
Definitely.
Okay. I think once you go past Fast and Furious movies, that's when you pull the tooth.
Yeah, like right now, I'm still in the King Arthur's Court level of Transformers, I think. But if I get to Jason Statham getting into a fist fight while holding a baby on an airplane, then I'll know it's time to pull the tooth.
It's the best part of that movie by a lot.
I know.
That's true. It's definitely the best.
Easily the best sequence. Are we counting Hobbs and Shaw in the Fast and Furious?
Yeah,
okay, so you got a few to go still before you cross that line. Imagine if we were to count movies in which Jason Statham drives cars and that's his thing. And
Oh,
you got a whole other.
I was telling Eric all this shit earlier in the week. We were recording one of the other podcasts and the Austin one, and he told me, he was like, "Well, I guess you're gonna get a root canal next week." And let me tell you, if I don't show up for face recording next week, it's because this is the only way I won't show up for face recording next week. It's because it will be if I wake up Monday or Tuesday morning with a toothache and I find out I do need a root canal. I'm going off the grid and nobody will ever see me again. I'm just walking away from this life. I'm just gonna walk away. I'm gonna be like the Incredible. I'm gonna be like Bill Bixby at the end of an episode of the Incredible Hulk. I'm just gonna walk away and then, or like what's his face, Carradine in Kung Fu. You'll never see me again. That's it. That's my exit from this life. I will quit. I will throw up on my hands and quit.
You an appointment next week for that?
For a root canal?
No, I'm just saying, like, are you going to the dentist?
No,
like,
I got nothing. I got nothing.
Okay,
but it's like
so
if like
out of left field.
Yeah, no, it's just like if this trend continues, house problem, Geoff falls off his bike, fucking rash issues, but car accident, like it's either fridge or root canal. And if one of the fridge I can live with. If root canal happens next week, that's it. I'm done. That's a wrap on Geoff. Let me just start off this podcast this week by taking full responsibility for missing the pizza lunch and I don't even remember if we were supposed to record a monkey movie or not. I tried to sneak in. I didn't tell you guys about it in advance. I realized I didn't really think about it. I had what I thought was going to be a very minor little oral surgery, and I was not prepared for the equivalent of 20 root canals in my mouth at once that it turned out to be.
Jesus Christ.
I could not believe when you text a picture. I can't believe you didn't walk away. I thought that was what was going to happen.
Well, the podcast isn't over yet today.
Wait, there's a photo?
Yeah, I'll put it up in the Discord right now. This is a photo I sent Gavin right after the surgery. It's just me in bed.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It got way worse. It started to swell. What it is, a photo of me in bed, and the entire right side of my face looks like a balloon. But more near the mouth. Like, it looks like I've got like a bunch of golf balls in one side of my mouth.
It looks like your face is a bounce house that is starting to inflate. Like, just the left side, like when it starts going up.
I'm like a Halloween inflatable in somebody's front yard that's 35% of the way inflated. It ended up getting way worse, way more painful later on. But that laid me up for a lot longer than I anticipated. So if you'll indulge, I'll just run through that story real fast.
I'd love to hear it.
So first off, who the fuck schedules dentist shit on Saturdays? My periodontist is Machiavellian. I'll say that. This dude, he only does surgeries in Austin on Saturdays. I guess he does like Round Rock and Cedar Park or Kyle, surrounding areas the rest of the week. But he only makes time in Austin on fucking Saturdays. So in June, I don't even think I mentioned this to you guys then. In June, I went on a Saturday, and I went and had a consultation with him. You guys have, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you guys before, but, in addition to all the mouth stuff I have gum problems. My orthodontist and my periodontist both told me that white people have shitty gums on average. And so I'm just working with bad genetics here. So with all the Invisalign and moving stuff around and all the surgeries I'd had, my gums had started to recede. And it was something I was pretty worried about, and I'd been talking about with my dentist a lot, and she kept kind of pushing it off. And eventually I went to the periodontist, and he was like, holy shit, your gums are bad, dude. You need to get this fixed pretty fast. Otherwise, you're going to get bone density loss, and then that's bone grafting. That's all. It gets way worse,
Jeez.
Oh
The
my God.
problem escalates, right? So the procedure to get a gum graft, and it's going to sound rough, but I'll explain why I didn't tell you guys about it. The procedure to get a gum graft is one of two things. Either they remove skin from the roof of your mouth, and then they sew it around your teeth and your existing gums to kind of bolster it, kind of beef it up, give you some beefy gums, right?
God.
However, my gum loss was so severe that when I saw the guy in June, he was like, listen, he was essentially like, your mouth is so fucked up that you're going to come out of this better. There's not enough, you don't have enough gums in your head to fix this. So we're going to use a commercial solution. So basically, if we use your gums from the roof of your mouth, that's like a 2-week recovery, which by the way is bullshit. It is not a 2-week recovery. If it's, and by the way, if I sound weird at all, it is still hard to talk and my mouth still hurts and it is hard to smile and it hurts to laugh. So luckily I'm doing the podcast with you guys, so that shouldn't be a problem. No laughing here. He goes, he goes, you need too much gums, so we're not gonna be able to use you.
Every time you consult with a doctor or a surgeon, they always lay out like, here's what people do, and then they're like,
Yeah.
no, that definitely not for you.
Yeah,
what we're gonna have to do for you.
You're reminding me of when I had my thumb surgery after I shared my thumb. Yeah. The doctor was like, oh no. Anyway, so he's like, there's not enough gums there's not enough gums in your body for you, so we're going to use a commercial solution. That recovery is only like 4 days. And I was like, oh, really? He goes, yeah, it's basically like, he didn't say where they come from, but they get gums. And I'm assuming they're dead people gums.
Yeah.
What?
This is a whole subplot in Oz, is what you're living.
Yeah, okay, cool. I don't remember that part of Oz, but I'm assuming that I'm getting dead people's gums, which is it's great.
What? I've
Totally-
never heard of that in my life.
Totally
They
fine with
harvest
that.
gums?
Yeah. Emily and I were like, listen, maybe I'll get some really talented person's gums. Maybe I'll learn, like, suddenly I can play the trumpet, or like maybe I'll get evil gums. Who knows, but like it'll be an adventure one way or the other, right? And so I didn't really think anything of it. And then there was a long process from June until 2 weeks ago where I tried to convince them to let me have this fucking surgery. I was playing phone tag between the orthodontist and the periodontist and trying to get them together, and there was a whole thing with stopping my Invisalign, which still hasn't been worked out, by the way. I'm just not on Invisalign anymore. The orthodontist telling me one thing, the periodontist is like, don't listen to him, listen to me. And so they're fighting. It's a whole fucking thing. A lot of drama, a lot of mouth drama in the periphery. But so anyway, eventually I'm able to get it scheduled, and it was like, I guess not last Saturday, but the previous one. And I just thought, like he said, you're going to be in and out in like an hour and a half. And you're just like, it's going to suck a little bit. You'll get some shots, because we got to sew the gums in. But it's like, it's not the end of the world, right? And so I go in. I have Emily take me just for the hell of it, even though I think I'm probably fine. I have Emily take me in on Saturday. And I get in the chair. And he looks at my mouth and he goes, I think we can do this. And I was like, what? And he goes, I think we can do this. And I go, so what does that mean? He goes, I don't think we're going to use the commercial stuff. I think we're going to use you for you. And I was like, oh, really? He goes, it's going to be close, but we're going to see. And I go,
No.
Oh.
It's going to be close.
And then
You don't want someone who's about to perform surgery on you ever to state it's going to be close. Let's do this. Strap in.
I should also mention, too, that when I got the initial consult and he told me I was going to have the easiest version of this, he also said it's way too much surgery to do in one sitting. So we're going to split it up. You'll do the top of your mouth, and then 3 months later, we'll come in and do the bottom. Easy peasy, in and out. No big deal. Okay. This guy felt like pushing it. He was like, he wanted to test the limits of his ability and my pain threshold. And so he goes, I think we can do this. I'll get started on the top and we'll just see how it goes. And I go, okay. And then they give me nitrous. And I'm like, I didn't have nitrous for like the first 3 root canals. I had it for the last 2. And it's like, I'll be honest with you, the root canals were fine with the nitrous. I was like, nitrous, I'll be fine. You know, the shots will suck, but then my mouth will be numb and I won't think about it. I'll just be like off in La La Land. I found the limits of what nitrous can do for pain pretty quickly. Pretty fucking quickly. So we get in there, and first off, I don't know if you guys have had a lot of shots in your mouth. Unfortunately, I have, especially the last 3 years or so. I would say I maybe have had more shots in my mouth in the last 3 years than most people do in a lifetime.
You always taught me to, when they ask if it's working, you'd say no, and then you get another one.
Get another shot. It's a minor inconvenience, but it'll pay off in the long run. I don't know if you guys have had shots on the inside of your mouth. It is a whole different world on the other side of your teeth. On the back end, you know, where your tongue and your uvula and the roof of your mouth and all that stuff is, that's a whole different level of pain from the outside, front-facing side of your mouth. The side that gets hit with, like, sun when you open your mouth, or, like, hot coffee or cold. It gets, like, resistant to stuff. The inside of your mouth, it's partially protected by the outside of your mouth, so it is not ready for what may have been 20 shots.
God. Oh, my God.
Getting a shot in the roof of my mouth, getting a shot in the floor of my mouth, I just, like, the nitrous did nothing for that. It was so goddamn painful to the point where I was just, like, sitting on my hands. I couldn't move. He gets me all numb. And then...
Are these shots because he's using you now? Like, was this what you're
these
have
are
to
shots
do
to use me.
But because you're now using you
We're
now
doing
have
more.
to go through all these shots.
Yeah, it's extra shots.
Did you argue with him about this?
No, listen, he's a fucking... the guy's got a medical degree. I do not. I'm not going to argue with the guy.
Yeah, but this was your chance to be like a grandmaster at chess with your gums. Like, you're
but I'm
getting
not.
outside
I'm not.
count.
And I don't for a
Fair
second think I am. I don't for a second look at a chessboard and think I know this. Much like I don't for a second look at a mouth and think, like, I have domain.
No, but this is like your like Mike scenario. You're getting the other person's gums. You're losing your ability to absorb talent, is what I'm saying.
I
That's
can
what I'd be
understand
concerned.
wanting to keep your own material.
That's fair, too. I feel like they need to explain that you're going to get a million shots in this trade.
I'm bummed at this point because I thought I was taking the easy road, and this very quickly we've taken an off ramp into what's looking like we're getting pretty far off the interstate here, and I'm starting to get a little nervous. It's not well lit on this street we're driving on, and it's a little sketchy.
And your guide thinks that maybe this will work.
Yeah.
Like, not only are you off the road, it's like, probably.
He's like, the top half of your mouth is the most fucked up, so that's where we're going to focus. And I'm like, okay. And so he starts putting the shots in, and they're worse than I imagined, and they're really bad. And you know, the shot makes you numb after the shot in the area where you already were. So, like, the shot's always one step ahead of the numb, right? So you're still getting the pain every time. And so he gets me all numbed up really good. And I'm a little loopy from the nitrous, and then he basically flays he basically Ramsey Boltons the roof of my mouth. I can just feel like this pressure, and then hear him just like scraping with a knife, just like strips of skin out of the top of my mouth.
Thing I've ever heard.
It's very uncomfortable, right? Very uncomfortable. And remember, I'm expecting 60 to 90 minutes. He said less than an hour and a half, probably an hour and a half, you know. And he does this for 2 hours straight. And I'm telling you, there is not enough nitrous and pain med in the world to inject into a person. It was 100% torture.
It's torture. It
was literally, I just couldn't move, and it was pure torture, and it hurt so bad. And then at the end of 2 hours, he pops up for air and he goes, "Guess what?" And I go, you know, and he goes, "We got the top of your mouth totally done." And I think there's going to be enough. I think there's enough of you left. We can do the bottom and get you out of here in one setting. And I'm like, so I'm thinking, I want nothing more. Like I want nothing more than to get out of this chair. But I'm thinking, I will never get back in this chair again if I get out, right? So I'm like, okay. And he does another hour on the lower half of my mouth. So for 3 hours, he Ramsey bolted the roof of my mouth and then Frankenstein sewed it around my teeth and my gums on the top and the bottom. I got out of the chair. I was in a daze. I went out. I sat down in the thing next to Emily. She had to fill out some paperwork. And I'll be honest with you, in the waiting room in front of 15 people, I just started crying. I was just like, I was shaken uncontrollably. And it was such a like, it's kind of like when I don't know if you guys, well, none of you here have, I don't think. But if you've ever had a tattoo and it's gone, it gets into like the 4, the 5, the 6 hour range, you start to just like kind of lose a little bit of control. You start to get real shaky. You get real lightheaded. You just kind of start to feel out of it. I felt like that. And I just fucking sat there and cried until Emily took me home and then put a bunch of hydrocodone in me and put me to bed. And then I woke up and I took that picture of my face that I sent you guys. And then my face ballooned up. Like it got way worse than that. And it was just like constant pain. And in ways that I just hadn't anticipated because I thought this thing was going to be 60 minutes, somebody else's gums, in and out. It was 3 hours. It was torture. The roof of my mouth is still sucks so fucking bad. Even though it's now 2 weeks past, it'll be 2 weeks Saturday. It's like the surface of the moon. Like there are rocks and crags and hills and valleys in the roof of my mouth, and they all just burn and itch from growing back. And I can't. It's one of those things where if you touch it, it hurts, but it itches, so you have to touch it. And so I'm just constantly fighting with myself. But anyway, so we get through all that, and then I'm just a swollen mess for days and days and days. And I thought I was going to be cleaning the pizza oven and all this stuff. I can't get out of bed. Then, as the swelling subsides, the second hell visits me, which I wasn't anticipating. The swelling obscured all of the it's probably 30 stitches, the pokey stitches. Once the swelling subsides, the stitches appear like a porcupine. My mouth has been a goddamn. It's just been like needles sticking out from between every tooth in my mouth for the last week.
Oh my god!
I can't
You're
not
Edward
touch them.
Scissortooth.
Yeah, I'm Edward Scissortooth. I can't not brush against them with my teeth. There are certain ones, especially in the top, where he was really hammering away where it was bad. It's so 24-hour a day uncomfortable, and that's like the stitches are supposed to dissolve at 2 weeks. I'm pretty much 2 weeks in. They're going strong. They're just as annoying and painful as ever. And so that's where I've been. I tried to sneak a really easy medical procedure in. I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. I wasn't even going to bring it up to you guys because I'm sick of talking about my mouth and the dental stuff. And I thought I was past it. I thought this was one minor little blip. And then the last thing he said to me, which was so fucking terrifying, and I still don't know what to think about it. He goes, it looks good. Right now, you're at 100%. When it come back in a month, maybe 100%, maybe 80, maybe 60. We'll see. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I was in no condition to ask. So I don't know if I'm supposed to, if there's a fear that I'll shed extra gums out and then I'll have to put them back in, or they'll shrink over time or whatever. But I go back in like 2 weeks.
I wonder.
I go back in I don't know. I go back in like 2 weeks to see how I've healed. But my mouth is just like, it's like a torture device right now. And I'm 2 weeks in. I can't eat anything. I actually had a hamburger yesterday. It was the first time I'd eaten like kind of food like that, and it was hard. I've been eating soup and oatmeal and applesauce for 2 straight weeks.
Every time I eat a Red Baron pizza, I cut the roof of my mouth. And
what a struggle for you.
No.
So sad.
No, you're right.
Every time.
You're right. You don't think about how much stuff fucks up the roof of your mouth.
It just like digs out a little bit, like nicks it to the point where it's like, oh, I've just like dislodged a little bit of roof skin. And it's so uncomfortable and irritating for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine all of that. I hate that story so much. It sounds horrendous. I can't believe you're not addicted to opiates on painkillers.
No. I mean, I didn't even finish the pain meds they gave me. I've just been. I don't like the foggy feeling. So, and you know, I have addiction issues, so I try to be on top of that. But no, it's. I've been taking a lot of ibuprofen. The worst fucking thing is there's a couple on the worst is the top, but there's a couple on the bottom where my tongue like naturally rests, where like I can't help but touch the stitch in the back, and I can feel it move the stitch in the front on my lip. You know what I mean? So it's weird to like touch the back of your mouth and have it manipulate the front of your mouth.
So connected.
Fucking sucks. It sucks so fucking bad. It's been
you didn't
such
walk
a
away after
fucking nightmare. Well, I'm in no condition to walk.
That is a great. Outside of the mouth, do you have any other issues going on? Are your legs better? Your ankles? What's going on with the overall body?
Everything else is fine. My ankle's a little stiff here and there, but it's gotten way better since I think I saw you guys last or talked to you guys last. The rest of my body is fine. It's just my mouth continues to persist to be an issue.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
All right. We've already covered the storm and the ice apocalypse and how I had to live in a hotel
Yes.
and then I had to live in an Airbnb and then I had to rent another Airbnb and then I got to move home and then I couldn't get my money back for the Airbnb. And it was all kind of fucked up because I was leaving in 2 days to go back out of town anyway for Emily's birthday. All right. Did all that. Everything's fine. Move in to this little town in Lockhart, or a little town called Lockhart, just southeast of here. It's like a little old barbecue capital, but they have just these amazing houses. It's like 30 minutes outside of town, but it feels like worlds away. And there's these huge like century homes that are just absolutely gorgeous. And Emily loves this one particular one that we like to Airbnb. So we just went there for 2 days, had a big party. They have a heated pool. We invited a ton of people over. Gavin and Meg didn't come. Eric and Barbara, his lovely small wife, did come. Thank you for showing up, Eric. Appreciate that. Had a great time. Had a great day. Had a whole like 2 day thing planned. The first night I get there, go to bed and thinking like finally I can relax. I went through this whole rigmarole with the house and power and have slept in like 9 different beds in the last week. And this isn't my bed, but I'm at least familiar with this place and it's a comfortable, cozy, relaxing place. Finally, I can just fucking relax. Go to bed. Get awakened at about 3 a.m. by searing tooth pain.
Come on.
First thought is, this is my fault for declaring that the dental era was over.
Now,
top left back tooth, second from the back tooth, is just throbbing in the exact same way that my tooth hurt a year ago when I had that surprise re-root canal, remember? Where you thought it was over and then suddenly they're like, ha, fuck you, do it again, right? So I just like fucking, I don't sleep from that moment on. And then I have to get up and prepare for Emily's big day, right? And so I'm like, and it's Saturday, so there's like nothing I can do. I even check at 4 or 5 in the morning. I even check. There's no dentist open in Lockhart on a Saturday. I'm not driving an hour or 45 minutes to Austin on a Saturday, and also there's no dentist open on Saturday. This whole idea of like 24-hour dental cares, hospitals and shit it's all bullshit when you start to actually Google it and find out where those places are. They never exist. So I'm like, I just have to fucking suffer through until Monday. And I guess I'm going to have to get a fucking root canal. I don't know what else to do. And I don't want to ruin Emily's birthday. And so I'm just like, try to grin and bear it. And I just take a bunch of Tylenol and stuff. And I just try to grin and bear it. And it gets a little better and it subsides a little bit. But I basically had to spend that whole weekend of Emily's birthday, celebrating her birthday, hanging out with Eric and Trevor and Barbara were there. And a bunch of people were there having a good time. And I was just like trying to ignore the fact that I was in a tremendous amount of pain the entire time. I don't even think I talked about it. I tried not to talk about it even. What did you say, Eric? You could tell I was hurting?
You were a little like slow and in this hoodie and just sort of like immediately I just went, something's up with Geoff. Geoff is in physical pain and trying his best to not
Did you ask about
physical pain. We talked about it because he just went, guess what? And it was like, no.
wasn't great.
No, but it was like, he did a great job. I mean, like, participated and was like the life of the party and everything. But the whole time you're just going like, he's dying. Like, he's hurting so bad.
Well, thanks for saying I did again. I really did try not to let it affect Emily's good time, and her birthday weekend. And it got a little bit better on Sunday. And then I went to the doctor on Monday, and I explained to him that it was this root canal and yada, yada, yada. And they went, yeah, you've never had a root canal there, buddy. You don't know what you're talking about. It's just a crown. And they looked at it, and there was just something wrong with the crown. I don't know. They said there was like an imperfection in it, and it seemed like it was just agitating my tooth, but that my root was fine. And so they took it off, and I have a temporary crown, and I have to go back Monday, this next Monday, to run another test to see if there's any inflammation. And if so, then I have to get a root canal. If not, then they ordered me a new crown, and then I go back in a month and get the new crown put on. But at a minimum, I have a temporary crown for a month, or I'm getting a root canal next week, and I don't know which yet.
Oh, man.
Just never ending.
It's
Just
never ending.
Literally 2 days after I get my electric and my power and internet and everything turned back on, and I go, okay, it's been a hell of a week. It's been a hell of a year. I've got the stitches. I got the cut-up hand already. We've had the ice apocalypse. I just want to have a weekend where I can relax and celebrate my fiance's birthday and spend time with friends and just chill the fuck out. And then immediately the universe was like, I'm going to kick you so hard in the dick right now, your head's going to spin.
This is like the third year of root canals since this podcast started.
I know. Tell you what, though, I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm refusing to be upset about it. I'm refusing to be bummed. I'm not going to let 2023 be like 2022. So I'm going to try my best to maintain a positive attitude. We'll see if the universe beats that out of me over the course of the next few months. But as of right now, even with a potential root canal on the horizon, I'm maintaining a sunny disposition.
Can you get custom crowns with like? Could you get like the face logo on a crown?
I don't know. Probably. Eric says yes.
You can get that with like fake teeth and stuff too.
That'd be cool.
What about,
We won't
how
be
many
doing
crowns do you have, Geoff?
that. Oh, I don't know. 2 maybe.
2?
2 or 3.
I just, when you're saying that, like without context, the sentence "I'm ordering a new crown" sounds fucking awesome. But once you apply the context to it, it really ruins it.
Yeah, it does. It's not that. It turns out
not
crowns
cool.
aren't always fun. Yeah.
It's like the most cool descriptor for a thing not cool at all. So Monday,
What's that?
we find out on Monday.
Monday at 10 a.m. I go to
Monday at 10 a.m. I'm gonna put that
Dennis.
in my own calendar. Monday at noon. Check in on Geoff.
Yeah. That made me laugh so hard I got dizzy for a second. Oh my god. Did you guys see that video somebody posted on the face subreddit of 50 Cent talking about getting shot in the face and the pain level?
No.
He got shot in his face.
50 Cent was
he
shot
got
9
shot.
times. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he's been
that's
shot.
what his claim to fame. He
I didn't know
survived.
that.
Yeah. He said in this interview that somebody that was clipped on the face subreddit that getting shot in the face hurts less than a root canal. So basically, what I'm saying is that 50 Cent is saying that I've essentially been shot like 6 times in the face. I can say that I've essentially been shot in the face 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. I guess it like probably contextually, right? Like I assume he didn't know he was gonna get shot in the face when it happened.
I don't think so.
But you
Probably
know a
not.
root canal is coming.
Yeah.
There's never been a drive-by root canal, which would be horrendous. I think that'd be the
brutal.
worst case scenario.
That'd be a bad one. Yeah.
It would be. Yeah. Yeah, I don't... What happened to you? I got mugged. He root canaled me. Like, it's such a...
He stole my root. I took my wallet and my root.
Oh, I would give so much up before I was willing for them to take my root. I will throw my wallet. I will run if you're coming after my root.
Anything but the root. Do they take the root in a root canal?
I don't... Do they take it or
Don't
do they,
you
like,
need the
bridge
root?
a new...
No,
I think
you have multiple roots. You have like
Really?
you have like 3 roots in your tooth, and they take the one that's
So that's how you can have multiple root canals on the same tooth.
yeah. And then if you lose all your roots, then you lose your tooth, and they just fucking yank it.
It seems weird that you only get 2 goes at teeth.
It
Yeah.
does.
I could have done
Yeah.
with like maybe one set every 20 years.
Well, I still
I
have
agree.
my wisdom teeth, and I feel like they're my like backup tires. Is the way I view those. I'm supposed to get them removed,
they
but
don't
the
move.
fact No, but the fact I still got him, I just feel like I got some extras in the chamber if I need them.
You don't lose like a canine and they put one of your wisdoms there. What do you mean?
Well, no, I feel like it gives me a false sense of security. Like, I know logically what you're saying is accurate, but in my head, I got a few backup tires in my mouth.
He's got a spare in the trunk.
It's like saying that I got a spare in the trunk, but I have to use it in the trunk. Like, what do you mean? How's that effective?
No, well, listen.
Just start spinning in there.
From a numbers perspective, it would make sense. Down a tooth, up a tooth. If it emerges. I don't know how I'd even pull it. I guess I'd have to... Could I get my wisdom teeth pulled and then put it into my mouth if I wanted to? Somewhere?
Probably not.
What do you mean?
What if I did like dentures? Like a denture, but it was just like wisdom teeth.
Yeah, but then you can do whatever. You can do like dog teeth. Like if you're talking about dentures, it doesn't have to be your
I'm not
teeth.
fucking weird, Eric. I'm not going to put dog teeth in my mouth.
Oh, maybe
but if I
Eric's the
wanted-
weird one.
Gavin is doing whatever he can to take the weirdness off him.
I'm trying to say the most normal shit.
Putting your own teeth back in your head after they get pulled is like, this is so insane to me. I never thought about that.
Can
Like,
you
ever.
imagine a full smile of just wisdom teeth? It looks freaking.
Oh
Wisdom
my God.
teeth. So fucking big.
Oh,
I got
just giant blocks.
The toothiest grin you've ever seen.
How does a tooth get made? Do we start with teeth?
How does anything
do
get made?
can
You grow it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but could I put it back in and like could I grow more teeth if I wanted? Like, why does my mouth just stop?
That's what I'm saying. It's like DNA tells your body to
Yeah.
grow two sets. And I think, well, you can see x-rays of kids, right? Where they have all their teeth, but they have all their adult
Yes.
teeth just sitting dormant above
Just
their
waiting.
Here's something
old
that
teeth.
you don't want to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay, so you got your
look
all
how
your
low
little
down
teeth
that one is.
compartments.
If that
Yep.
guy like smashed his chin like riding a bike, one of his teeth could come out the bottom.
I would say, looking at this photo of it's like normal teeth and then all your compartments for teeth. If somebody mugged me and stole a tooth, I'd be like, fucking idiot. They don't know I got 20 more. I got 20 more they could have taken, not even visible.
They
I
didn't
got these
check my
secure.
hidden compartments.
Also, look how freaking weird that wisdom tooth looks. Like, imagine a full set of them.
That's what Andrew wants. Take
Which
them out
one's
and
the
put them
wisdom?
in the front.
The wisdom's the one right at the back.
They look like the little hats you put on like rack of lamb after you.
Yeah,
I
like,
would-
you know what I
I
mean?
mean?
Of a chicken leg or something.
I
Yeah.
would look like an extra in a Flintstones movie if I had a full rack of those. Like it's like a prehistoric vibe you get from them.
Dude, that guy's got teeth up by his nose, down by his chin. It's horrible.
So that place is fucking weird and bizarre, and I wasn't a fan. But while I was there, my tooth started hurting, and by the end of the day, it was hurting so goddamn badly that I
Same
was
one?
Googling. Yeah, so I was Googling, just out of the blue, it just started. I was Googling like 24-hour emergency dentist again, and I couldn't find anything. And then I found one. I got an appointment first thing Sunday morning at a dentist across town. Saturday night, I had some painkillers left over from my gum stuff, so I took a painkiller. It calmed down. I went to bed. I woke up in the morning, no pain, totally gone. Like, what the fuck? I went to the dentist anyway because I'm like, I can't fuck around with this anymore. It's killing me, right? This pain, no pain, pain, no pain. They'd look at x-rays. They're like, I don't think you need a root canal, and you're not in any pain, right? And I'm like, I'm not in any pain. And they're like, yeah, it's just, it looks fine. They were like, you should just go back to your dentist tomorrow and see what they say. So I'm like, fuck, okay, I guess. So I get up the next day and I go to my dentist and we have a long conversation about it. And she retests the tooth 20 different times. And there's really not pain in the way that they think there should be for me to get a root canal. Now, I realize I'm on painkillers, so that might be part of it. And she was like, let's go another week and just see what happens. One thing she did do was she ground the tip down so that it's maybe not like, she was afraid that maybe it was a little larger than it should be. And maybe it was like causing extra pressure when I chew or something. Anyway, the sum total of all that meant that by the end of that day, I was ready to kill myself again from pain. I took a pain pill and I was going to get up the next morning and call her and go, hey, I need to come in and get this fucking root canal because it's brutal. And there was no pain the next day. And there really hasn't been any pain since. And so there have been, it's like a 1 or a 2. I've taken like Advil a few times here or there. I have an appointment to go back next Monday. I'm assuming this Saturday I'll be in intense pain because it only surfaces on Saturdays, apparently. When I'm the furthest away from a dentist I can be, right? Is like when it likes to kick in. It likes to maximize the misery it can cause me. But yeah, I gotta go check in next Monday, and I think I'm just gonna tell her, let's do the root canal. Let's just fucking do it and
just get it over with.
And just get it over with. Just get past this, because this has now been like a 3-week ordeal, and it's just like every day I wake up with like pain roulette, and it just fucking
I hate this so much because we can't help you.
No, there's nothing we can do.
I just feel so helpless every time this happens to you.
I feel pretty helpless too, because I've made mouth care a big focus of my life for the past few years, and I'm doing
and this
everything they tell
podcast
me to, and I'm really doing everything I can. I'm trying not to get down in the dumps about it. I'm trying to have a good year in 2023 and be positive, but it's getting difficult. I'm really struggling with this one fucking tooth.
Is this the last root? How many root canals have you had on this tooth already?
0.
Well, this was just a crown.
I've never had a root canal.
You've had crown.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I had, but
I've
had so many root canals. I thought it was one, but they were like, no, it's one of the rare ones that doesn't. So.
I would. This is terrible. But you know how like in Survivor, and it's not so much in recent seasons, but they used to do that game where like everyone would have like 3 sandbags, and if you got the question right, you could chop down somebody's sandbag, and then whoever's the last one standing won. If I could see that with your tooth. Because you can have 3 root canals per tooth, right? Like, if we could just have a visual of, like, what each tooth is on as far as how many root canals it has left in it, there can't be... There's got to be a lot of ones.
It's like Mario Kart battle mode with the balloon.
Exactly, yeah. It's that. I would love to see a per tooth, like, how many you've got in each one.
Oh, man. Hey, one piece of loose end that's out that there's... not really a story to tell, but it just got lost in the fray, and I don't want to leave it hanging. I did get a root canal last week. Just
no!
If anybody's wondering. Yeah.
No!
I've run out of reactions to you saying that. I don't know how to react anymore.
There was no major story or nonsense to it or anything. I just, I was on the way to, I had to record I felt like we gave it a great plug in whatever episode just came out, 154, maybe. But the other podcast I did with Gus, ANMA, A-N-M-A, I had to swing by the dentist on the way to that podcast just to check in and have the conversation with her about if I needed the root canal or not. And then we figured we'd schedule it for later in the week. And I sat down and she was like, yeah, you need a root canal. And I was like, I definitely need a root canal. And she was like, let's get started. And I was like, whoa. I thought we would do it like Thursday or something. And she was like, I have time today. And I was like, can I come back in like an hour and a half? And so I ran over and I recorded that other podcast and came right back, got the root canal. And that was pretty much it. I don't have any more pain. It's not finished. I got to go back next Tuesday and have the root canal finished and then have my permanent crown put on. And then that'll be the end of my tooth era again, hopefully. But
this was under the crown.
Yeah, it was under the crown.
So they've taken off the crown, done half a root canal. They do the other half of the root canal and then put a new crown on.
Your percentages are off. They've done 90% of the root canal, and they have just like a little bit left. But yeah, and then the crown has to be replaced. So the reason I'm doing it Tuesday is because that's when the new crown comes in.
Your dental saga is so extensive that when you said roof earlier, I assumed you meant the roof of your mouth. I immediately went to your mouth and I don't think there's any other person in my life I would make that leap with. I think you're the only one.
Yeah, I had a whole crew of dudes up in the roof of my mouth fixing my tooth shingles.
But you have described like 2 women crawling around inside your mouth, I think.
That's true. It is absolutely true. That's totally fair. Anyway, so just want to leave that out there. Hopefully nothing goes wrong next Tuesday, but
I mean, nothing could. It's 10%. They just got to do 10%. It's easy.
Just fucking tired of talking about my mouth. So
yeah, no, it's fair. It's totally fair. It's been an extensive process. How are you doing, Geoff?
Hey. That's a good question. How's everybody's mouth? Everybody's mouth hurt like mine?
I'm okay.
Oh no. Well, mine's good.
That's good.
I assume you went and had your 10% finished.
I had my 10% finished.
New crown?
10% and a new crown. Somehow took. Well, okay. I wasn't anticipating this being a story or a half story, so I cut off a part from the previous week that I just didn't want to get into. I was still a little traumatized by. I told you that everything went well, and it did eventually. But the thing I didn't tell you guys is that, but now that I've got this other end, I might as well tell this part too. When I was so, even though I was on antibiotics and everything, it was so inflamed by the time I went in there and so angry because it had been, like 3 weeks of this. They gave me the numbing agent, and the numbing shots, which are not the most fun in the world, but I've gotten so accustomed to getting them now that it's like, one gets used to the pain, that specific pain, when you feel it 1,000 times.
You're numb to the numbing.
I'm numb to the numbing within reason. So then what they do is they, after about, like 10 minutes or whatever, they blow a little air on your tooth to see if you feel it. And when they do that to me, it feels like somebody's jabbing a hot poker into my brain. And so I was like, it's not going to work. I'm going to need more numbing shots. I was so inflamed, they had to give me 6 rounds of shots.
Oh, my God.
It took like 40 minutes to numb my mouth up.
Are you building up a resistance?
No, I was fucking numb. I will say this time. So anyway, I went back. That was the part. I went back to get the 10% done. Only needed 1 shot. I was fine this time. Like, was totally fine with 1 shot. The previous time she had told me this story about how you have to be really careful and why she wanted to split it up into 2 sessions. You gotta be really careful because these tools are very delicate and they can break off in your tooth. And if they do,
oh, no.
The tool is stuck in your tooth. It doesn't. They can't really get it out easily, and it's not a big deal because it's sterile. And it doesn't harm anything. But it's just like you want to avoid that if at all possible, obviously. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Let's split it up into 2 sessions. So when I went in on Tuesday for the last 10%, which by the way lasted over 3 hours, that last 10%, that was a real kick to the balls emotionally. I did not. I thought I was going to go in there and be in and out in like 90 minutes, and it took longer than the first 90%. And part of that is because a tool broke off in my tooth.
Which
in my
tool?
root. Just the thing that she was using to scrape out the root, and it was the last root. It was not a big deal. She was like, "If you want, I can send you to an endodontist." And they can try to get it out, and then you can come back to me, and we'll patch it up. But
she can put them in, she can't get them out?
But she was like, but there's no reason to do that. It's in a safe place. It's tiny. It's sterile. It's not a big deal. This happens a lot. This is not uncommon. There's a lot of people walking around with a piece of tool in their tooth. I can just patch you back up. We're done. Put the root canal on, and you can be on your way. So I was like, I could do this 2 more times, or I could be done today. I'll be done today. So that's what we did.
No.
My tooth's starting to hurt today, and I'm starting to get a little paranoid. So I don't know. We'll see.
I can't believe you. And I understand where you're coming from, Geoff. But nothing about your mouth is normal, and nothing has ever gone the way that you'd want it to go.
That crossed my mind in the moment, but I was so defeated and so deflated, and I had been there for 3 hours. I just didn't have 2 more. I didn't have 2 more trips of drilling in me, and of course now I'll probably end up having to do it anyway. But I thought it was just
now it's going to turn into like 5.
We'll see.
I like the idea that they have to do a rescue mission for this tool because it's fucking up your tooth. They need to go in and save it.
How is it in the tooth?
Like in the canal. It's so deep in there, and they can't get it out. It's just like a little tip.
It's like
it's just like
a child in a well, Gavin.
It's like the tip of a drill.
They gotta get the drill tip out.
A child in a well.
Psychologically, in my head, there's the tip of a drill just tumbling around in my tooth, poking into stuff. And I can't get that thought out of my head. I didn't sleep last night at all.
Do you think that is making it worse?
I think it's fucking with me. Yeah, I think I am a victim of my own imagination, and I have been my entire life. And I had to sit down and have a very serious talk with myself today about knocking it off with this specifically, because they told me my mouth would be sore for up to a week, and I Googled it, and after root canal, your mouth could be sore for up to a week. So I am trying to convince myself not to ascribe the pain I'm feeling to something larger, because it's day 1.5 after getting 3 hours of a mouth surgery. So of course my mouth is sore. Of course that tooth is sore. I ate last night for the first time on it, like meat, and that hurt a little bit. Of course I probably ate. I'm sure I'm fine, but it's the kind of imagination that helps you start a podcast like Face and a company like Rooster Teeth can be a real motherfucker when it's pointed in a negative direction that you don't want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's just fucking hard to get out of my own head.
What day are you on now?
I got it done Tuesday, so today's Thursday.
Okay, so you're on day 2 or day 3? Yeah.
Day 2.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, you're going to be great. This time next week,
yeah.
All good. We don't need to save that child in that well. We can just keep that well closed.